This is a great question I received from someone on Instagram, and I think we should talk about it. It's great for several reasons. One, it shows us that not all queer people are a monolith. We all have had different experiences, different lived experiences, both in and out of the church. Thing two, it's a great example of how we can attempt to better understand other people through social media. Social media does not make it easy. It's incredibly divisive. But with this, it's curious, it's compassionate, and it's genuinely trying to understand without speaking just to be heard. My name is Eric Feltus, and I'm a life coach. I help other gay men free themselves from religious shame, and I get hate purged at me on a daily basis from every walk of life. I have other queer people telling me that I shouldn't be pushing religion onto people, which I'm not. But I also have a lot of Christians tell me that you can't be gay and a Christian, and that I'm going to hell, or that I'm a pedophile, or that I'm sending other men to hell, that it's an abomination. Leviticus 18:22. Trust me, if you've thought it, then I've heard it. Now, I want to be very clear. At Life Coaching by Feltus, it's not a religious organization. I do not bring people to church. I also do not bring people out of church. My job is to help gay men to love themselves deeply as they are and to recognize that their queerness is a gift to be celebrated. Like I said, we are not a monolith, so some of my clients go back to church. Some of them never want to step inside of a church again, and I honor all journeys. But to get back to this person, I'm so glad that they've had a good experience in the church. Unfortunately, not everyone has. I grew up Catholic and then evangelical. It wasn't that it was necessarily wrong in Catholicism, it just was never talked about. And everyone I knew got married at a young age to someone of the opposite gender. So it's just something that I was never exposed to. But then in high school, I started going to an evangelical church, and that is where I really learned that it was wrong. I remember pastors at the evangelical church I went to preaching about the dangers of homosexuality. One of my pastors set me up with an older gentleman who was married to a woman but struggled with same-sex attraction. That's what we called it at that time. This man was in his late 40s, and I remember sitting down with him a few times to talk about the dangers of homosexuality, and he just looked so sad in the eyes. He looked miserable. One day I point blank asked him, "Do you have sex with your wife, and is it enjoyable?" Because even at that age, as a teenager, I knew that sex was important. And he looked off, and then he looked back at me. He said, "You know what? I do, but it's still a struggle." And then he said to me, "Sometimes having sex with my wife is like masturbating into a receptacle." This is a Christian talking to me about how what I'm doing is wrong. Now, after I had come out at 25, he wrote me, I know what he thought was a loving letter saying that he failed me. That's the viewpoint. That's what I heard in this church, was that homosexuality is wrong. We speak to over 100 men every single week. We speak to so many men who believe that being gay is wrong. And shame, it's cancer. Shame will tell you that you're wrong, that you're bad, that you're never going to be fixed or changed, that there's no hope for you, that you can't talk to anyone about this. Here's the dangerous formula that I learned, particularly in the evangelical church. I learned that being gay is wrong. I learned that God doesn't make mistakes, that God is perfect, that God can change you. So I'm like, okay, if being gay is wrong and I have these same-sex attraction, there must be something wrong with me. I also learned that if I pray hard enough, that I will be changed. Y'all, I cried myself to sleep at night asking God to change me. It never happened. So if all of those beliefs that I learned from the evangelical church are accurate, then God is good. There's something wrong with me. I was born into this sin. It's a choice, so I can pray it away. And if I'm not changed, then I'm not praying hard enough. So something must be wrong with me. And then to throw on top of it, could we raise the stakes any higher when we say that you're going to hell? In my formative years, I learned that if I didn't change who I was, I would burn in the fiery pits of hell forever. That is called spiritual abuse. At Life Coaching by Feltus, we change this. We help men to build community. We help men to love themselves deeply as and because of who they are. Now, symptoms of shame. Shame makes it hard to trust yourself. Makes you gaslight yourself in a way. Makes it hard to connect with other people, particularly other gay men. It makes it hard for us to have healthy sex lives. We use sex compulsively, secretively, with shame, right? Or we don't have sex at all. Or we do, and then it's ruined with the walk of shame because we think we're going to hell. It's not healthy. It makes it hard for us to make friends. It makes it hard for us to be confident and have good self-esteem, to let go of perfectionism and people-pleasing. These are symptoms of religious shame. My name is Eric Feltus. I'm a life coach. I help gay men free themselves from this sort of shame. So if you're listening to this and you wish you had this experience, so happy that they have. But let's say that you didn't have that same experience. You're not alone. This is exactly what we do. I want you to read the description below, and please feel free to sign up for a discovery call for me. You can also email me, and I'll put my email in the description as well, eric@lifecoachingbyfeltus.com. You can also find me on Instagram and DM me there, the word help. My Instagram is Eric Feltus. I'll make sure all of this is in the show notes. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having the courage to listen to this, and we'll see you next time.